Life before the diet was pretty horrific, I've got to say. Matthew was on a cocktail of medications, which meant there was a cocktail of side effects that went with those medications. So he was still having hundreds of seizures a week, even though he was on all this med. He was hardly sleeping. He would scream from like 4 o'clock in the morning through till midnight. You lived on adrenaline all the time and basically fear, because you didn't know what the next seizure was going to bring. Was this going to be another bout of status epilepticus? Were you going to need to go in hospital? Is he going to die? And you lived your life day to day like that. And that's what life was like before the diet.
We didn't have much of a relationship when we were younger. He was very violent towards me. I couldn't go near him because I'd get hit or bitten. I couldn't have friends around because they're too scared of him, or they'd get hit or bitten or anything like that.
You want to do something, you want to help. I wanted to help Emma, I wanted to help Alice, but all I could be was a shoulder to cry on the really bad days, and to listen and to be there and support her.
You know, it was horrendous, and for me also, I was a lot younger, so I felt even more helpless, even more kind of, not disconnected because it was our family, but like I had no chance of helping or making any difference whatsoever.
So the ketogenic diet is a really artificial diet. It's very, very high fat, sort of minimal required protein, and then calories and vitamins, minerals and trace elements as well. But the fact that it's very high fat can actually make it quite unpalatable. It can make it hard, especially for little kids, to take such a high fat diet. And it can make it very difficult for parents and carers to work out how to provide that kind of nutrition. We recognise that the earlier a child can get put on the ketogenic diet, then the better the prognosis for that child. The ketogenic diet won't reverse any damage that's been done, but it will prevent further damage. So the earlier the intervention, the better.
Matthew, once he started the ketogenic diet, I can say that the changes in him were pretty dramatic fairly quickly. Literally within 2 weeks, the seizures dropped by about 90%. So for a kid that was having hundreds of different types of seizures a week, this was massive. So without all the seizures interfering with things, he started to feel better and get better and have more energy and just seemed happier in himself. Everything seemed to calm down. And then we started the medication wean. And that's when things improved again. So we'd already had the seizure drop, and then the weaning of the meds started. And by 8 months on the diet, he was off all medication. Once all the meds were out and he was established on the diet, it was like a different boy.
Our relationship now is amazing. The diet changed our lives, and I love him to pieces. He's so cuddly, smiley. He was able to start speaking a few words. I remember him saying my name for the first time, and that was probably one of the best things I'd heard. Yeah, no, the diet definitely changed everything between us.
I'll admit I was dubious that a change of food could have that much of an effect on something that seemed so it's so untouchable. You know, when I saw him, some of the fits that he would have would, you know, just how can a diet help him? And then when Emma sort of mastered this diet, which he has done, it's just incredible. We had Matthew back.
A lot of Matthew's food was quite wet, and you had to use a spatula to make sure they got every little bit of fat up and everything else. So when you're getting recipes through from the dietitian going, oh, this is a cake recipe, and I'm a baker, I love cooking cakes and biscuits and baking and all that kind of stuff. And you kind of do it and it's like this flabby omelette type thing, and you're like, that's not a cake. It was very difficult because cooking and making Matthew's favourites was always the one thing I could do that he loved. So it's an important factor for parents when they consider the diet, and it certainly was for me.
Emma was on the phone to us a lot, on the phone to a lot of my colleagues in medical and marketing, and myself, I worked in research at the time, telling us what she was doing with the diet and feeding back to us and providing us with some of the recipes.
I did muffins, pancakes for him, waffles, crackers, all the baked goods that kids like as a treat or things like that, I could get by using this powder product. So it was great. It revolutionised things for me and for Matthew.
We have been able to, with Emma's permission obviously, share a lot of those applications and a lot of those recipes with parents in other countries. So they've also helped other families.
Matthew's friends and Nutricia have always had a good working relationship together. Matthew's friends obviously has developed more over the years. So whichever country we're in, obviously Nutricia, we're interested in the work they do as well, because we know it benefits the children in the long run.
Treatment for children with epilepsy is either medication, surgery, or the ketogenic diet. But I know when we started this journey, awareness of the ketogenic diet as a possibility was very low. It wasn't easy for parents to find out about it and then to get support when they did find out about it. So we supported some research that would actually publicise the ketogenic diet and give healthcare professionals information about it. So we supported a trial that Great Ormond Street did, where they compared it with the treatment with drugs, the drug treatment, and showed that it was in the patients that they tried it in, it was as beneficial. That's obviously important in convincing healthcare professionals, because that research is then published in a credible medical journal. Emma really helped us and strengthened us in our view and helped us to see the possibilities and the importance of it as well.
I still get infuriated to this day that we have this formula, but there are still a lot of tube-fed kids and adults out there that have not been put on it and not even been given a trial. And I find that really, really infuriating that we have to break down that barrier, and still 10 years on, 12 years on, we're going, for crying out loud, why hasn't every tube-fed patient with intractable epilepsy been given the opportunity to try the ketogenic diet? There is a formula there that could help do this. Swimming is his favourite thing in the whole wide world. You can see his face light up when he goes in there. It's just a pleasure to be able to watch him enjoy something he loves so much.
Family is probably one of the most important things for Matthew. Like, he can't do a lot, but family he loves, because he recognises us, and he knows we're all there, we all love him, and when we're all smiling and laughing and chatting, especially when there's food involved as well, because Matthew and food is just match made in heaven. I love him to pieces, and I'm pretty sure he loves me too. I get lots of smiles, cuddles on the couch. He's my life, and he's inspired me to do so much. I don't know what I'd do without him, to be honest. He's the best thing in my life.
It's very difficult to sit here and put into words the massive change that it made. And there's not a day that doesn't go past where I don't thank God for the Ketogenic Diet, because I don't know where we would have been otherwise. I don't think Matthew would have been here.